All right, welcome, folks, to this exciting girls' varsity softball game. Mahar Senators versus your Pioneer Panthers. And a little bit of a late start. Apologize. Still getting my bearings. Tyler Borbo here. One who came fully equipped with his bearings, Lou Bordeaux. Lou, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Tyler. Nowhere I'd rather be. You know that. Good to see some of the Panther varsity student athletes back at home after a couple weeks on the road. Pioneer taking on Mahar today. This is Cordelia Rhodes at bat for the Senators. She is their leadoff hitter, playing third base. Going to be followed by Carly Palak and Kenzie Matthews. Here in the top of the first inning. Super windy day here in Northfield, as we've kind of become accustomed to.
I know the weather doesn't work as strict as defined as our calendar does, but it is May, not April, so I'm expecting these winds to go away any minute now.
Well, it sounds fine to me, Tyler.
Full count now.
I am okay once this Northfield wind settles down.
Had a tough time checking her swing on that. Goes down technically swinging. 1 out for the Senators.
Going to bring up Carly Palak. Carly's the shortstop today. As I look back over the last couple weeks for the Panthers, they had that win at Mohawk Trail on Tuesday. Big 14-9 win. Prior to that last week, down in Springfield, just came up short against the International Charter School, 3-2 defeat. And got the road trip started back on April 23rd at Athol, big 23-8 win. So Panthers been hitting the ball hard. They played these Mahar Senators earlier this campaign. Came away with a 22-5 win out in Orange. And it's lined into center field for a base hit. Layla Goulston with the quick pickup, gets the ball in. Going to bring up Kenzie Matthews. Kenzie's the catcher for Mahar.
Now, a little bit about Layla Goulston playing in center field for the Panthers. She's been doing a great job all season of picking the right places to be standing, and a real advantage in the outfield of getting the ball in and being in the place where the ball goes. Good field judgment.
She's a very smart fielder, and there's a lot of responsibility when you're the center fielder. You're kind of the captain of the outfield, and it's certainly a role that Layla handles very well. Kenzie Matthews swings right through that one. Count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Fouled over along the first base line. Count remains 1-2. Gabby Matthews on deck. We've got 1 out here in the top of the first inning. It's a fair ball. Senators get runners on the corners with just 1 out here in the top of the first. That was a really hard ball to play, just out of the reach of Allie Clary.
It's really tough to chase those balls down when you don't have the the extra velocity heading up into the air. Further the ball goes up, longer it takes to come down, easier to get underneath it.
Yeah, we got strike 1 on Gabby Matthews. Panthers don't want to dig a hole early on against the Senators. And that hit the batter. Going to load the bases. Bases loaded for Lila Pollock. Takes that one high and inside, ball one. Lila is the left fielder for Mahar. Over to shortstop. Jalen Beliski goes over to Taylor Chase for the putout. 1 run scores. Mahar on the board early. And we've got 2 out. For Bella Burnett. Bella's going to be in the circle today for Mahar. Good pitch. That's Lucy Burnap in the circle for Pioneer. That one got away. Runner's going to advance. Just held on to it a little bit too long. Now got past the catcher. And runner safe at home. Mahar with 2 runs here in the first inning.
Well, a couple details in calculating this. Lucy Burnap, I wouldn't say this is the first time she's pitched, although I can't remember the last time she was on the hill when BNC TV was covering. And she's been a formidable fielder and batter.
Sliced right to Maggie Tippanyuk, who steps on first, and that's going to retire the side. Mahar scores 2 runs on 2 base hits here in the first inning. 1 runner left on base. We're in the middle of the first. Mahar's got 2 Pioneers coming up. Stay tuned for more Panther softball right here on BNC TV.
Welcome back, folks.
Good to be with you here today for this softball game. First game here at Pioneer in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it feels, I mean, we did cover that away game, boys baseball against Turners, but it's nice to be back at home field. The sun is shining, even if the wind is here. And nice to be here with these girls for this home game.
That's Bella Burnett in the circle for Mahar. Facing her counterpart, Lucy Burnap. Lucy chops it out. Nice catch. It was Aaron Parse put that one away. Here's Jalen Beliski. Jalen made that nice play at shortstop in the top of the first. Looks like Bella's still trying to get her bearings there in the circle for Mahar. Jen lines it down left field line into souvenir country. Some valiant soul put the deflecting hand up. Kept everybody safe over there. Always a good thing to see when you're safe.
Well, that's the required chivalry of being within the foul territory.
Exactly. I don't know if I'd be brave enough to sit over there.
Well, that's why we park where we do.
Just a little ground ball at third base. Can't handle it. Infield hit for Jalen. Panthers have their first base runner of the afternoon. That'll bring up Layla Golston.
Almost seemed like there was a little bit of backspin on that hit because it came down and there was just no forward momentum to that. So, which wound up being quite advantageous for Jalen Beliski.
And Layla takes ball one. Got one out here in the bottom of the first inning. High and away, count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Three and 0. Talked about Layla's defensive capabilities, but well, she's got a great hitter stance too. And takes it low and inside for ball 4.
Well, neither of us brought our abacus, so it's going to be a tough time really crunching those numbers, but Layla has most certainly been putting up those hits in previous games, especially the ones that we've been covering. So you're right, she definitely has that hitter stance. Ball hit down the left field baseline, drives in a run.
That was Maggie Tippanyuk, first ball hitting.
Just like that, Pioneer turns it into a 1-run ball game.
And this is Taylor Chase at the plate now. Runners advance on the wild pitch. Panthers threatening here in bottom of the first inning. Taylor fouls that one back. Allie Clary on deck for Pioneer. She'll be followed by Natalie Johnson, the right fielder. Taylor pops that up. And Gabby Matthews puts it away. That's 2 out here in the bottom of the first. Panthers, runners remain on second and third. And here's Allie. Allie, first ball swinging, fouls it back. Fouled back off the screen. Counts 0-2. Another foul ball. That went over the screen. Out into left field.
Nice snag.
Lila Pollock puts it away. That's going to retire the side. Panthers score 1 run on 2 base hits. 2 runners left. We've got 1 inning in the books here in Northfield. Mahar leads this one 2-1. Don't go anywhere. We got more Panther softball coming right up here on BNC TV.
Welcome back. Sneaking up on us with coming back to the inning.
Still getting organized out here.
Bearings still yet to be found.
This is Bella Harrington at the plate for Mahar. And she goes down on strikes. Trying to catch up on her defensive alignment between innings. This is Jenna Nolette, right fielder for Mahar. Nice stop behind the plate by Kiara Guskowski. Counts 1 ball and 1 strike. High and inside, 2-1. We were talking in between innings, and we had a hard time remembering last time we saw Lucy Burnap in the circle for Pioneer. This count goes to 2-2. But, you know, we so frequently talk about the boys' baseball team having such a depth of pitching. And this could be an opportunity for the Panthers to broaden their horizons as far as pitchers, both now and for the future. Jenna gets a single into center field.
And it's definitely great to have an opportunity, you know, and I look back at towards like the middle of March, and basketball was just ending. And then I'm talking with a few folks and like, yeah, baseball starts in like 2 weeks. And I just think to myself, oh, if it starts in 2 weeks, when's like the first game? And it's like 3 weeks later. And, you know, 2 weeks of practice and trying to figure out positions and everything is a really tall order. So throughout the season, it's totally understandable to want to, you know, test out other positions and just kind of figure out what's the best place each student athlete fits into.
Well, you make a good point, Tyler, because it's such a quick turnaround. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Nice pitch by Lucy. Goes back to the top of the order with Cordelia Rhodes. But it's such a quick turnaround for any of the high school sports. You know, I certainly see it in hockey. It seems we have tryouts, and then 10 days later we've got a game scheduled.
That's a tough, that's a tall order right there. Especially because, I don't know, hockey just seems to have such a very specific thing with tryouts. I mean, even as far as like, I don't know, are you still testing fundamentals at that level of making sure someone, you know, can handle being on blades?
Well, hopefully they can handle that part pretty well. Ground ball. And just beats it out. Rhodes with the infield hit. Taylor Chase made the nice pickup, got the ball over to Maggie, but Cordelia just beat that throw to first base. So with 2 out here in the bottom of the second inning, Mahar threatens once again, runners on first and second. And now they advance to second and third. Good pitch by Lucy. This is Carly Paluk at the plate. Carly singled and scored in the first inning. Scored Mahar's first run of the day. Wild pitch, runner scores. Mahar takes the 3-1 lead. Carly swung right through that one. Counts 2 balls, 2 strikes. And it's called strike 3. Kiara throws down to Maggie just to ensure. Couldn't quite handle it, so it's a strikeout, but the putout is 2-3. That's going to wrap it up in the second inning for Mahar. One more run. 2 base hits, 1 runner left. In the middle of the second, Mahar leads this one 3-1. Stay tuned for more Panther softball in a moment right here on BNC TV.
Catching us off guard yet again.
Natalie Johnson at the plate takes ball 1. Mahar off to a 3-1 lead. Natalie's the right fielder for Pioneer. She's going to be followed this inning by Amy Van Doren and Kiara Guskowski. Ground ball. Good play. Cordelia Rhodes gets it across to Gabby Matthews for the put out. 1 out in the Panther second inning. Amy Van Doren, first ball swinging, pops up to shortstop. Carly Paluk puts it away. And there's quickly 2 out.
Well, haven't seen a lot of Amy Van Doren, but from what we just saw, you know, she knows what she wants to swing at and knows how to connect, and you know, that's a really good developing quality that I hope to see more of later on.
Yeah, any of the student athletes who might not ordinarily get a lot of playing time, Tyler, you like to see them get involved, and certainly there's no trepidation when you're first ball swinging up there.
For sure, and you know, Pioneer is no stranger to utilizing some of the younger student athletes at the high school and middle school level. So some of these students are really, well, quite literally stepping up to the plate.
Nicely
done. Yeah, hey, any opportunity. And you know, you get to see them do a really great job.
Swings at the 3-0 pitch, drives it into center field for a base hit. When you see your pitch, you swing at it. So Kiara's on at first base with a nice single right up the middle. Gets back to the top of the order, Lucy Burnap. Lucy popped up to Erin Pars at second base, her first time up. Going to get a courtesy runner there for Kiara.
And Kiara, the catcher for Pioneer, and another case in point of the experimentation. I think the previous game that we taped for softball, we had Taylor Chase behind the plate. What a nice bunt.
Drops a bunt, just rolled foul. Great idea by Lucy.
But yeah, so you know, not just on the hill, but in other positions too. Coach Marty is taking opportunities to see what folks are doing in different positions.
And lined out to third base, Cordelia Rhodes busy at the hot corner. That's going to wrap up the Panther second inning. No runs, 1 base hit, 1 runner left. After 2, Mahar 3, Pioneer 1. Don't go anywhere. Check out our sponsors in between innings. We've got more Panther softball coming up right here on BNC TV.
Welcome back. Top of the third inning. Mahar maintaining that 2-run lead they started in the first.
And this is catcher Kenzie Matthews, takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Popped up, Allie Clary's got it. Over to Maggie for the putout.
Nice job by Allie Clary being able to transition. The way that ball dropped in there, sometimes it's hard to make that judgment of whether or not you want to make the motions to try and go for the catch or just prepare for it getting it on the bounce. And sometimes it's hard to make that transition, but she did it very well.
Well, you're exactly right. You know, one of the early fundamental lessons is to keep the ball in front of you, and rather than risking a diving catch, it was obviously the better play to play it on a hop. And as you said, handled it nicely for the put out over to Maggie. Now I know we've got, for the boys baseball, we've got Braden Tipeniuk, we got Evan Tipeniuk. We tend to call him BT and ET. Should we call Maggie MT?
Now
we'll go with Maggie.
Well, sometimes I refer to her as Margaret, even though that is not, I've been informed by her mother, that is not even on the birth certificate, so It is, in fact, Maggie all the way through and through.
Fair enough. And this is Gabby Matthews at the plate for Mahar. She was hit by a pitch and scored back in the first inning. Kind of an inside-out swing to foul that one away. That one's high and away. Counts 2-2.
Sorry, I've been messing up on the count. Yep, 2-2.
Pop up. And Allie's right there to put it away.
This time she chose to get underneath it. Well, good judgment all around.
2 outs. Lila Paluk coming up. Lila's the left fielder for Mahar. I was combing through the records in between innings, and back on April 18th, out in Orange, Pioneer came away with the big 22-5 win. But the interesting factoid from that game is Pioneer scored 17 runs in the 5th and 6th innings combined. So other than that, we've got a 5-5 ball game. So we've got a close game here so far, 3-1, Mahar on top.
Well, I feel like over the years of covering a lot of these high school sports, and I guess this just goes at sports in general, there are some matchups where it just feels like you're battling against each other and trying to see which one is going to flinch first, so to speak. And, who's going to crack which pitcher's code first, if you will. And it's an interesting thing watching ball games kind of at a stalemate, and then suddenly it opens up.
Well, I always think that, despite the pre-game catches and 10 minutes or so of fungos that are hit, it's just not a lot of time. And I think we see this in all sports, that it takes probably a good 30 minutes of game time. Allie Clary, another play over to first. That's going to retire the side. I'll finish my thought in the next inning. For Mahar in the third. No runs, no hits, 1 runner left. We're in the middle of the third inning here in Northfield. Great ball game so far. Mahar leads this one 3-1. Stay tuned for more Panther softball right here on BNC TV.
welcome back, folks.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Panther, third inning, bottom of the third. Jalen Beliski getting things started for the Panthers. She'll be followed by Layla Goulston and Maggie Tippenyuk. Counts 2-0. Jalen got a single and scored the Panthers' lone run back in the first inning. One bounced in the dirt. 3 balls, no strikes on the Panther shortstop. Bella Burnett in the circle for Mahar. And ball 4. Panthers get that first runner on base, always a good sign. Layla Goulston coming up. Layla walked in the first inning. And the 435 coming by out here in Northfield. Runner goes. Slides in safely.
Nice steal by Jalen Beliski.
It's outside. 3-0 on Layla. She will be followed by Maggie Tippenyuk. Bella drops that one in for strike 1. Count goes to 3-1. Swung right through that one. Jalen went with the pitch, steals third. That's 2 stolen bases for Jalen. Full count on Layla. And that's outside for ball 4.
And home is stolen.
On the wild pitch.
And a little bit of a...
I don't know, would you call that a kerfuffle?
Absolutely. any 1930s slang, I'm here for it. But it looked like, on the walk, Layla Goulston was looking to turn that too, just like she did now, and got a little bit scared by the ball coming in to second halfway around turning 1. And decided to get back, and that's what we just saw.
And she steals third.
Boy, an enormous amount of stealing. I haven't even had a chance to adjust my base highlights, and now I don't even have to change it.
Perfect.
I would say at least 6 stolen bases in the last 2 batters.
Let's go with 4.
4.
Which is kind of like 6.
Yeah.
Even number, they're all about the same. It's that new math, Tyler.
It's that embellishing specificity.
And a nice base hit into center field.
That drives in another run, and Pioneer has now tied it up.
Good contact by Maggie. It's her second run batted in on the day. Taylor Chase puts that one into right field. Maggie trying to take the extra base. She's going to make it standing up. Taylor takes advantage. Nobody covering second. Panthers on fire.
I would dare say I'd call this capitalizing on the chaos.
Indeed.
A lot of stealing, a lot of causing uneasiness. Players have to go and cover certain bases, leaving other bases open. It's pretty strategic. You know, with Pioneer tying things up already, it looks like what they've been doing is working.
It's not unusual to see the Panthers be aggressive on the base paths. Rocket out into left field. Oh, nice catch by Lila Pollock. Maggie tags and scores. Panthers take the lead. Taylor remains at second base. That was Allie Clary. She got all of that one. And that's the first out. Natalie Johnson at the plate. Nat grounded out to third base her first time up. High and away, 2-0. That's strike one. Couldn't resist that high one. Count goes to 2-2. Just an easy nubber out in front of home plate. Really nothing they could do there. Natalie's on safely at first. Taylor advances over to third base. Panther runners on the corners with one out here in the bottom of the third inning. Had to do a double take, Tyler, as Natalie takes second. Had to do a double take because couldn't really tell if that was a foul ball or not, but it was just in front of home plate.
Well, we've seen a couple pop-ups kind of go, you know, straight backwards, but all it does is look like it goes up. But when we saw that one drop right down in the dirt, you know, that was when you knew where it was. You know, it's that perspective that we have.
Amy Van Doren, she gets a base hit into center field. Another Panther runner scores. Pioneer 5-3 lead now. Johnson goes over to third base. Amy takes second. Panthers turning up the heat here in the bottom of the third. Already have 4 runs across. High and away, 2 balls and a strike. Kiara Guskowski singled in the second inning. She is the catcher for the Panthers today. Foul ball down the third base line. Count goes to 1-2. Just missed outside. Full count on Kiara.
Pardon me, I had the count wrong again.
Swung on and missed, strike 3. Matthews throws down to her sister Gabby for the putout. Runners stay in place on second and third. Back to the top of the order, Lucy Burnap, as the Panthers bat around here in the third inning. Just drop that one in a little high as across the strike zone. 1-0. And that's into center field. That's a base hit. Two more Panther runners score. It's 7-3. Pitcher Lucy Burnap helping her own cause, driving in two big Panther runs. Yeah, Lucy slides in safely with the stolen base. This is Jalen Beliski. Jalen walked and scored to get this inning started for Pioneer. Ball gets away from the catcher. And some aggressive base running by Lucy. Gets over to third base. That one's outside, ball 4. Jalen walks for the second time this inning. Two outs, Panther runners on the corners for center fielder Layla Golston. There you see Jalen trot into second base. Second and third for Layla. She has walked twice today so far. And takes a strike on the outside corner. Hammered into left field. Lila Pollock is right there to put it away, and that's going to retire the side. Big inning for the Panthers, 6 big runs, 2 runners left. After 3 complete, Pioneer leads this one 7-3. Don't go anywhere. We've got more Panther softball coming right up here on BNC TV.
right, welcome back. After a big inning for Pioneer in the bottom of the third, come into the top of the fourth inning, Mahar behind by 4.
And this is Bella Harrington getting things started for Mahar here in the fourth. Got a defensive change for Pioneer. We see Kobe Tominski is now playing first base. Haven't had our spotters tell us about anything else. There's Kobe.
Well, it also looks like Maggie Tippenyuk is on third base, unless I could be mistaken. That is Maggie Tippenyuk on third, which means either Taylor Chase switched with Kiara Gruskowski behind the plate.
So it was swung on a missed strike 3. Ball went all the way back to the screen, and the runner got on base. Doesn't happen that often, but keeps the game interesting. Mahar gets their first runner on base despite the strikeout.
Well, I do believe Taylor Chase is behind the plate. I'll confirm when I see the number.
And grounded foul picked up by the third base coach. One's high and away. Nice catch by Kiara behind the plate. That was low. Another nice stop. 2 balls and a strike. This is Jenna Nolette. And that one hit her in the ankle. Mahar has their first 2 runners on here in the fourth. Aaron Parse, second base person, at the plate for Mahar. Aaron was caught looking back in the second. Couldn't lay off that high pitch, as we talk about from time to time. It's very hard to lay off that one that's at your eyes. Pounded into the ground. Lucy's got it. Goes over to Kobe at first base for the put out. Runners advance. Always take the sure out. Out at home plate.
Had a tough time picking which one to go for on the camera, but nice job keeping those runs down.
Good play. Runners advance. That was Cordelia Rhodes. She's on at first now. Carly Palick at the plate, as Cordelia runs to second. Mahar with runners on second and third. 2 outs. Big situation here for Carly. Nice pitch. That's going to retire the side.
It was way behind in the count.
So was I. For Mahar, no runs. 1 base hit, 2 runners left. In the middle of the fourth, Pioneer leads this one 7-3. Stay tuned for more Panther softball right here on BNC TV.
welcome back, folks. That is not the bottom of the fourth inning. We have Maggie Tipniuk leading us off in the bottom of the fourth.
Yes, she is, and she's playing third base now. Maggie has singled twice today, scored a run last inning.
Three and 0 count on Tipniuk.
And ball four.
Next up to bat, Taylor Chase, now catching, former third baseman.
Tyler, I think I swallowed a mayfly.
That's okay. And out at second base on that hit. Good retrieval. Tough situation when the ball is a fly ball into shallow center field and there's a force at second. It's interesting because you want to be able to tag up if it's caught, and it's kind of the closest to, avoiding the infield fly rule as you can get.
Yeah, not much you can do about that. Try and make the most out of it. It's a good idea by Cordelia trying to get the ball to second base to get the force play. Didn't get there, couldn't handle it. Taylor's in safely at second.
Nice single by Allison Clary.
And Allie is on first.
Well, if it's not a mayfly, it would be a giant tumbleweed of pollen that's been blowing through this area for the past week.
Wow. And I've got to tell you, I try and have a Ricola before we go live, Tyler. And I had one and I was doing just fine, and then all of a sudden, holy smokes, it was all over.
So I have no base for this claim, but it's my understanding that you get a discount if you do the whole Ricola chant at the checkout aisle.
I do it every time, and the cashiers look at me like I'm crazy.
So maybe they haven't read the back of the label.
Absolutely. So maybe we can get Ricola to sponsor us.
Oh, that would be fantastic, especially during the spring sports.
Indeed. And the runners advance. Panthers threatening again here in the bottom of the fourth.
2-2 for Nat Johnson.
Takes that one, ball three, full count. And it's a foul tip at home plate. Made contact, stays alive. Line right back to the pitcher. Drops it, tags on first. Runner scores, 8-3 Pioneer. Self-defense move by Bella Burnett. Knocked the ball down, threw it over to Gabby Matthews at first. Taylor scored. And it's 8-3. And another line drive right back to Bella. That was Amy Van Doren. That's going to retire the side. Some good defense by the Mahar pitcher. One more run for the Panthers. One runner left after 4 complete here in Northfield. Pioneer leads this one, 8-3. Stay tuned for more Panther softball right here on BNC TV. flinching.
Okay. Kaylee Fournette in right field, and it's Kaylin Shabbat in left.
All right, this is just not going to work. Too many changes. Kaylee. So he got everybody in today. Holy moly. Well, not quite. Almost.
Corey could very well be on the JV field.
Ah. So who's in left?
See her at the bench.
Who's in left now?
Left field is Kaylin Shabbat.
Okay. My short attention span.
No worries. I just I looked over and I was just based off body, I was like, that doesn't look like Nat Johnson.
Right.
And then I started looking closer on that foul ball. And it was Kaylee Fournette. I saw the number 9.
Nicely done.
I've been trying, if I switch back to the pitcher cam, I'll
Yep.
start like going around with the viewfinder and
Right.
seeing if I can get close-ups on any changes.
Gotcha.
Like I'm a little bit, I don't know if you've picked up on anybody. Like I'm seeing 22 in right field. That's still.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jenna.
Oh, okay. You good to go?
Yes.
Right.
Wasn't going to do it, but I had to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's in your contract at least once. Don't hold your breath. Instead, they'll just take the link and
Yep. Oh, it's crazy. Yep. So kind of a naive question, but is that monetized for whoever puts a link like that? Yeah. Right.
All right, let's get back.
This could be the last thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little bit confusing. I mean,
Rules.
you're right. You're
rules.
right.
We don't need no stinking rules.
I gotta see that movie. Just that. I can't remember the name of the movie, but badges. You don't need no stinking badges.
Is that Three Amigos?
I think it's earlier than that. I want to say it's like black and white.
Yeah, because wasn't it Charles Bronson?
You know what? I think it is. I like Bronson. I gotta watch more of his. I don't know. Not just the old whatever they're called. Those 6 movies that he was in, like 10 to Midnight. All those odd movies.